Subjects for fugue. But that was a Spanish cat of the Enlightenment. It appreciated counterpoint. Nowadays, all cats appreciate are coloratura, like the rest of the public. This is now the last hour of my life. I need you to understand, not forgive. I do not ask for forgiveness, for I was a good man, as the world calls good. But what use was it to me? Goodness did not make me a good composer. Was Mozart good? Goodness is nothing in the furnace of art. The night of the manuscripts, my life gained a terrible and thrilling purpose. The blocking of God in one of his purest manifestations. I had the power. You see, God needed Mozart to let himself into the world. Mozart needed me to gain him worldly advancement. It would be a battle to the end, and Mozart was the battleground. This I knew of him. He was a worthy adversary. Witness the fact that in blocking him in the world, I was also given the opportunity of obstructing a disliked human rival. Which of you, I wonder, would refuse that if it were offered you? I knew my danger just as soon as I had uttered the challenge. What would be God's answer to me? Would he strike me dead for my impiety? Don't laugh. I was not.
The next thing that happened, barely 1 hour later, Constanzi was back at 10 o'clock at night. Signora.
Husband's out of Swarren at the Baron Van Sweeten, some concert of Sebastian Bach. Didn't know how to enjoy it.
I see. I'll bring my
Where do we go then?
What?
We do it in here? Shall we get on with it?
Your manuscripts, all that. Take them and leave at once. Via, do not return.
Pompous ass, how dare you!
See how it was? I would have wanted her just then, yes, more than ever. But now I wanted nothing petty. My core wasn't with Mozart anymore. It was through him to God who loved him so, Amadeus. The next day, when Caterina Cavalieri came for her lessons, I gave the same halting speech, coins of tenderness. I even dubbed the girl La Generosa. I regret that in love, as in art, I have always been limited. But fortunately for me, Caterina found it sufficient. She consumed 20 nipples of Venus that day, kissed me with brandy breath, and slipped easily into my bed. There she remained for many years behind my good wife's back. And soon I erased in sweat the sense of his little body, the creature preceding me. So much for my vow of sexual virtue. That same afternoon, I went to the palace and resigned from all of my committees to help the lot of poor musicians. So much for my vow of social virtue. And then I went to the emperor and recommended a man of no talent whatever to instruct Princess Elizabeth.
Dear Sommer, a dull man, surely. What of Mozart?
Majesty, I cannot with clear conscience recommend Mozart to teach royalty. One hears too many stories.
They may be disgusting.
One, I regret, relates to a prodigy of mine, a very young singer.
Charmant.
They are not pleasant, Majesty, but true.
I see. Let it be Herr Sommer then. I dare say it can't do much harm. To be frank, no one can do much harm musically to the Princess Elizabeth.
Mozart certainly didn't suspect me. The emperor made the announcement in his usual way.
Well, there it is.
And I commiserated with the loser.
It's my own fault. My father always writes. I should be more careful, to know my place. He'll send me 16 lectures when he hears of this.
It was a most conspicuous feat for Mozart.
His list of pupils hardly moves.
6 at most.
And now a baby to keep.
A little boy. Poor fellow. I, by contrast, prospered. This is the amazing truth. If I had expected anger from God, none came. None. In fact, in 84 and 85, I came to be regarded as the superior composer. This despite these were the 2 years in which Mozart wrote his best keyboard concertos and his string quartets.
Haydn calls the quartets unsurpassed.
People faint with pleasure. They were, but no one heard them. No one noticed. The Viennese greeted each unique concerto with the squeals of pleasure they normally reserve for a new style of bonnet. Each piece was played once and then totally forgotten. Mine, on the other hand, were played everywhere, saluted by everyone. I composed my Semmermerde for Munich.
Rapturously received.
I composed a comic opera for Vienna, La Grotta di Trofino.
Top of the city.
The cafes are buzzing.
And I finished my tragic opera Danius and produced it in Paris.
Stupendous reception.
The plaudits shake the roof.
Your name sounds throughout the empire.
Throughout all Europe. It was almost unbelievable, as though I were deliberately being pushed from triumph to triumph. And God's response to my challenge was as inscrutable as ever. Was he taking any notice of me at all? I filled my head with golden opinions, and this house with golden furniture. I gave salons and soirees, and celebrated the seasons round at the altar of success.
Mozart heard your comedy last night.
Yes, he spoke with the Princess Wisnowski.
He said you should be made to clean up after your own mess.
Really? What charmers these Salzburgs?
The people are outraged by him.
He empties drawing rooms, and now Van Schweden is angry with him.
Lord Fugue? I thought he was the Baron's little pet.
Mozart is asked leave to write an Italian opera.
Italian opera? Threat! My kingdom!
And the Baron is scandalized.
Why, what could be the theme of it?
Figaro. The Marriage of Figaro. That's all he can find towards his town. A vulgar farce. And when I reproved him, he said I reminded him of his father, nobleman, lusting after chambermaids or wives, just in stupid disguises anyone can penetrate the second. Why set such music down to go into an opera?
Because I want to do a piece about real people, Baron. And I want to set it in a real place. A boudoir. Because that, to me, is the most exciting place on earth. Underclothes on the floor, sheets still warm from a woman's body. Even a piss pot brimming under the bed.
Mozart!
I want real life, Baron, not boring legends.
Air-Solere's recent Danius was a legend, and that did not bore the French.
That's because it's impossible to bore the French, except in real life.
I had assumed now that you had joined our Brotherhood of Masons, you would choose more elevated themes.
Elevated. Elevated. The only thing a man should have to elevate is his doodle.
You are evoking, sir. Has everything to be a joke with you?
Excuse my language, Baron, but really, how can we go on forever with these gods and heroes?
Because they go on forever, Mozart. That's why. They are here to ennoble us, you and me, just as well as the Emperor. It's an aggrandizing art. It celebrates the eternal in man and ignores the ephemeral, the goddess and woman, and not the laundress.
Well said, sir, exactly.
Yes. Well said, sir, exactly. I don't understand all of it. You're off on your little perches, but it doesn't hide your hypocrisy, does it? None of you give a damn about gods and heroes. If you're honest, each one of you here, you're more at home with your hairdresser than you are with Hercules or Horatius or your stupid Danius, come to that. Oh, mine. Mithridate, king of Pontus, or Ptolemeo, king of Crete. You're all just such anguished antiques. They're bores. Don't you see every serious opera written in this century is boring? Oh, look at us. Four gaping mouths. What a perfect quartet. Oh, I'd love to write it. Just this second in time, just as we are. Air Chamberlain's probably. Impertinent Mozart. I must speak to the Emperor at once. And every, but you're thinking, ignorant Mozart, debasing opera with his vulgarity. And court composers thinking, the German Mozart, what can he finally know about music? Then there's me, Herr Mozart in the middle thinking, I'm just an honest fellow, why do they all disapprove of me? Don't you see, Baron, that is why opera is important, because it's realer than any stupid play. A dramatic poet would have to put down each one of these thoughts, one after another, in order to represent this moment in time. While the composer, he can put them all down at the same time and still make us hear each one of them. It's an astonishing device, a little quartet. I'll tell you, I want to write a grand finale lasting half an hour of quartet, becoming a quintet, becoming a sextet, on and on and on. Wider and wider, all sounds growing and multiplying and rising together, creating a sound entirely new. You know, I bet you that's how God hears the world. Millions and millions of sounds rising and mixing in his ear, creating an unending music, unimaginable to us. Don't you see it? Don't you? That's our job, we composers. To combine the inner thoughts of him and her and chambermaids and court composers and turn the audience into God. Oh, I'm sorry. I talk nonsense all day. It's incurable. that stanza. My tongue is stupid, Baron, but my heart isn't.
No, you're a good fellow underneath all your nonsense. I know that. He'll make a fine your brother Mason won't be Salieri.
Better than I, Baron.
Just try my best to be more serious with your kids.
Buono futuro, Monster.
Grazie, signore. Stop frowning, Air Chamberlain. I'm a jackass. It's easy to be friends with the jackass. All you have to do is shake his hoof. No, wait. Tell the Emperor that the office is already finished.
Finished.
Oh, yes. Right here in my noodle. The rest is just scribbling. There.
Good day to you.
He'll be proud of you. You'll see.
That man really is
Very lively.
intolerable.
Tolerable. How could I block it? How could I stop this opera of Figaro? Strangely to hear that within 6 weeks he had finished the entire score.
Figaro is complete. The first performance will be on May the 1st.
So soon?
There's no way we can stop it.
I have an idea, un piccolo idea.
What?
Mi ha detto c'è un balletto terzo atto.
See?
What are you saying?
Dimmi, e imperatore provvido il balletto di sua opera?
Non m'ha detto.
Precisamente.
Capisco. Ma che meraviglia, perfetto. Veramente ignoso.
What is it? What is he suggesting?
See him at the theater.
Of course, immediately. I'd almost forgotten. You are brilliant, court composer.
I have said nothing.
I must say, I resent this extremely. Mozart is right in some things. There is far too much Italian chitro-chatro in this court. Now please do inform me at once what was just said.
Pacienza, my dear Chamberlain, pacienza. Just wait and see. Mozart. Mozart. Mozart!
Yes, Herr Director.
A word with you, please, right away.
What is it?
I would like to see your score of Figaro.
Nah, why?
Just bring it here to me. Into my hand, please. Now tell me, did you not know that His Majesty has expressly forbidden ballet in his opera?
Ballet.
Such as occurs in your third act.
But that's not a ballet. That's a dance that occurs at Figaro's wedding.
Exactly, a dance.
His Majesty did not make that law to prevent insertions of dance. He made it to keep those stupid ballets out of those French operas. And quite right, too.
It is not for you, Herr Mozart, to interpret the Emperor's edicts, merely to obey them.
Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Taking out what should never have been put in.
But
Now, sir, perhaps in the future you will obey imperial commands.
But if all that goes, there's going to be a hole right in the climax of the story. Salieri. This is Salieri's idea.
Don't be absurd.
What had made him think of that? Nothing I ever did could have made him think of that on his own. Had God given him that idea?
It's a conspiracy. I can smell it. I can smell
Control
it.
yourself.
What do you want me to do? The performance is 2 days off.
Write it over. That's your forte. Is it not writing at speed?
No. Not when the music's perfect. Not when it's absolutely perfect like it is. I'll go to the Emperor. I'll go to the Emperor and I'll hold a rehearsal
The
for him.
Emperor does not attend rehearsals.
He'll attend this one. He'll come to this one and he'll deal with you.
The issue is simple. Write your act again today, or withdraw the opera. That is final.
Shitpot! You wappy-foppy, wet-ass Italian living shitpot! Rose in shit, rose in hole, rose in fart, rose in snot! Oh, I'll hold the rehearsal and the Emperor will come, and I am forbidden. I am forbidden. But of course, you already know, don't you?
No, what?
Never mind.
Mozart, permit me. If you wish, I will speak to the Emperor myself. Invite him to attend a rehearsal.
You wouldn't.
I cannot promise that he will come, but I can ask.
I'm sorry, sir. Thank you.
Good day. Needless to say, I did nothing whatever in the matter. Yet to my total stupefaction, in the middle of the last rehearsal of Figaro next day,
Fets and fireworks! Fets and fireworks! Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Entirely against his usual practice, the emperor suddenly appeared.
I can hardly wait for this Mozart, I can assure you. I preview the marvels.
Your Majesty.
What did this mean? Did this mean that God had finally decided to defend Mozart against me? Was he finally engaging me at last?
I'm so grateful to you, I can hardly speak. Sorry.
Say nothing. One thing was strangely more than coincidence. The emperor had appeared at precisely the moment the dancers would have begun. Had not they and their music been entirely cut? He and all of us watched as the action proceeded in total silence.
I don't understand. Is this modern?
No, Your Majesty.
Then what?
The air director has removed a dance that would have occurred at this point.
Why was this done?
It's your own regulation, sire. No ballet in your opera.
Oh, but this is not a ballet. This is a dance that occurs at Figaro's wedding, entirely necessary to the story of Figaro.
Well, it certainly looks odd the way it is. I can't say I like it.
Well, nor do I, Majesty.
Do you like this, Rosenberg?
It's not a question of liking, your majesty. Your own law decrees it.
Yes, all the same, this is nonsense. Look at them, they're like waxworks up there.
Well, not exactly, your majesty.
I don't like waxworks.
Nor do I, Majesty.
Well, who would? Salieri, what do you think?
Italians are quite fond of waxworks, Majesty. Our religion is largely based on them.
You're being Thibaut again, Lord Composer.
Your Majesty, Count Rosenberg is very worried that if the music is put back, it'll create a most unfortunate precedent, that one will thereafter have to endure hours of dancing at opera.
I think we can guard against that, you know, Herr Chamberlain. I really think we can guard against hours of dancing. No, please restore Herr Mozart's music.
But, your majesty, I must insist
You will oblige me, Rosenberg. I wish to hear Mozart's music. Do you understand?
Yes, your majesty.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I can't thank you enough.
Yes,
thank
very
you.
good. A little less enthusiasm, I beg you. There it is.
And so the opera of Figaro was produced, despite my efforts. I sat in my box and I watched it happen. A conspicuous defeat for me, but yet I was strangely excited. My march, my poor little march of welcome, now set to enchant the world forever.
Almost in your style, that last bit. But more vulgar, of course. Far more obvious than you would ever be.
Exactly. Trembling, I watched the second act, the restored third act, the astounding fourth. What shall I say to you, who will one day hear this last act for yourselves? And you will, because whatever else shall pass away, this must remain. The scene was night, in a summer garden. Pinprick stars gleamed down on shaking summer houses. Plotters danced across pasteboard hedges. I saw a woman dressed in her maid's clothes. Heard her husband utter the first tender words he had offered her in years, only because he thought she was someone else. Could one catch a realer moment? And how, except in a net of pure artifice? No, truly, the disguise of opera was written for Mozart. Final reconciliation melted sight. Through my tears, I saw the emperor young.
Most ingenious, Mozart. You're coming along nicely. But I really think we must omit encores in the future. It really makes things far too long. Make a note, Rosenberg.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Struck. Attend me.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you think that I'm coming along nicely all of a sudden?
Yes, I thought it was extraordinary, marvelous.
Yes. I'll tell you what it is. It's the best opera ever written, and only I could have written it. No one else could. That's what it is.
Rosenberg is furious.
He'll never forgive Mozart.
We'll do anything to get back at him.
So, I saw to it, through the person of the resentful director, that Figaro was played in the entire year only 9 times. My defeat finally turned into a victory. And God's response to me was as inscrutable as ever. Was he paying any notice?
Withdrawn. Absolutely no plans for a revival.
I commiserate with you, my friend. But if the public does not like one's work, one must accept the fact gracefully. And clearly they didn't.
It's too complicated.
It's too tiresome.
Too many weird harmonies.
And there's never a good bang at the end, so you know when to clap.
I would surely not have to plot so hard against Mozart's operas in the future. The Viennese could be relied upon to destroy them for me. No, I decided that I would concentrate on the man, spend as much time with him as I could, learn of all his weaknesses.
I'll go to England. That's the answer. England loves me.
We were once again in the library of the Baroness Waldstadt. That room to be faded, the site of many ghastly encounters between he and I. And again was the crema alla mascarpone.
No, I was there when I was a boy. They loved me. I had more kisses than you've had cakes.
Perhaps they will again. Why don't you go to London and try?
Because I have a wife and a child now and no money. I wrote to Papa to take the boy off our hands just for a couple months and he refused. In the end, they all betrayed you. Even the man who thinks loves you the most. You know, after he finished showing me off around Europe, he never went anywhere himself. He just stayed up year after year in Salzburg, kissing the ring of the fart bishop and lecturing. You know, the real thing is, underneath it all, he's jealous. He'll never ever forgive me for being more clever than he is. I'll tell you the secret. Leopold Mozart is nothing but a jealous, dried-up old turd, and I absolutely detest him.
Leopold Mozart.
Leopold Mozart.
Leopold Mozart is dead.
Do not despair, my friend. Death is inevitable.
How can I go on? How can I go on?
What do you mean?
In the world, there's no one else. No one who can see the wickedness around. I can't see it. I can't. You watched me all my life and I betrayed him.
No.
I talked against him.
No.
I married, or he begged me not. And I drank, and I played billiards, and I danced about, and he sat up year after year in that empty house with no one to care for him. No one to...
Wolfgang, you mustn't blame yourself. Lean upon me. Lean upon me if you must.
Papa!
And so rose the ghost father in Don Giovanni. Father more accusing than any in opera. So rose the guilty libertine cast into hell. I looked on, as from his ordinary life he made his art. We were both ordinary men, he and I. Yet he, from the ordinary, created legends. And and I from legends created only the ordinary. Could I not have stopped my war at any time and shown him a little pity? Oh, yes, my friends, at any time, if he above had shown me one drop of it. Each day I set to work, I prayed. I still prayed, mind you. Make this one good in my ear, just this one, just one. But would he ever? I heard my music calmed in convention, not one spirit of breath to lift it off the shallows. I heard his, the spirit singing through it, unstoppable to my ears alone. I heard his comic opera, the seduction of two sisters, così fan tutti, thus do all women, Aloysia and Constanzi immortalized, two average girls turned into divinity. Their sound of surrender sweeter than the psalms of heaven. Grant this to me! Grant this to me! No, I don't need you, Salieri. I have Mozart. Better for you to be silent. The creature's dreadful giggle was the laughter of God. I had to end it. How? There was only one way. Starvation. Starve out the God. Reduce the man to destitution. How are you faring today, my friend?
Badly. For I have no money, no prospect of any.
It would not surely be too hard.
We should find him a post.
One problem. The Emperor. Majesty, there is simply nothing available.
Well, there's chamber composer. Now that Gluck is dead.
Mozart to follow Gluck?
Well, I won't have him saying I drove him away. You know what a tongue he has.
Very well, Majesty. Grant him Gluck's position, but not Gluck's salary. That would be wrong.
Gluck got 2,000 florins a year. What should Mozart get?
200. Light pay, yes, but for light duties.
Fair enough. I'm obliged to you, co-composer.
Easily done. Like most men afraid of being thought generous, the Emperor Joseph was quite essentially stingy.
Herr Mozart, you do us honor.
That's a damned insult. It's not enough to keep a mouse in cheese for a week.
So regard it as a token.
A token? Tokens. When I was a child, they gave me snuff boxes, and now it's tokens. What pom-pom, fireworks, twang-twang for contradanzas.
I'm sorry it's made you angry. If I would have known, I would not have suggested it.
You suggested it.
I regret I was unable to do more.
I'm sorry. I can see that you are a truly kind man. And I'm a monstrous fool. I'm ashamed. You make me ashamed. I think.
No, s'il vous plaît, a little less enthusiasm, I beg you. Mozart, what is it?
Nothing. I get cramps in my stomach sometimes. It's nothing really.
Sorry. Will I see you again soon?
Well, of course, it's all right.
Why not come visit me?
I will. I promise.
My friend, my new friend. Now, if ever was the time for God to crush me, I waited. And do you know what happened? I had just destroyed Mozart's career at court, and God rewarded me by granting me my dearest wish.
Kapellmeister Bono.
Kapellmeister Bono.
Kapellmeister Bono is dead, and you are appointed
By royal decree.
to fill his place.
First Royal and Imperial Kapellmeister Clark Lord.
Bravo.
Bravo!
Viva, Salieri. Well done, Salieri.
Dear Salieri, there it is.
I was now truly alarmed. How long would I go unpunished?
Congratulations, sir. Mozart looks appalling.
It must be galling, of course.
I hear he's dosing himself constantly with medicine.
For what?
Envy, I imagine.
I hear there's also another baby on the way.
But there is. I've seen the mother.
I met him next at the frat.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, and to you both. Clearly there was a change for the worse. His eyes gleamed like a dog when the light hit. My friend, I understand you're not feeling well.
I'm not. My pains stay with me.
How wretched. What can they be?
That's why I sleep badly. I have bad dreams.
Wolfer.
Dreams?
Always the same one. A figure comes to me cloaked in gray. All gray. No face. Just a mask. Doing this. What do you suppose that can mean?
Surely you do not believe in dreams.
No, of course not.
And you, madam?
Do not dream much. Things are unpleasant enough to me awake.
It's all fancy, of course.
Good thing had proper work. He just made dreamless first Kapellmeister.
Stands over. Please. We're well enough, thank you, sir. Excuse us. Too long. He's growing freakish.
No question.
Great figures with masked faces.
He broods on his father too much, I fancy. Also, his circumstances make him anxious.
They've moved house again.
To the round Steinges, number 970.
They must be desperate.
It's a real slum.
Does he earn any money aside from his post?
Nothing whatever.
I hear he's starting to beg.
They say he's written 20 for other Masons.
Really?
And they are giving him money.
Of course they would. Of course the Masons would relieve him. I'd totally forgotten about the Masons. How stupid of me. Yes, they would relieve him as long as he asked. How could I stop it?
Lord Hugh is most displeased with him.
Is he?
Barrett!
This is not good, brother. The lodge is not created for you to beg from.
But what else can I do?
You're constant as you used to be.
I have no subscribers left. I'm no longer a fashionable composer, Barrett.
I am not surprised. You write tasteless comedies which give up sense. I have warned you often enough.
Did, I admit that.
I shall send you some cubes of Bach which you can arrange for my Sunday concert. You should have a small fee.
Thank you, Barrett. Thank you. But I cannot live by reading Bach.
Generous fellow.
It's all the same. I'll have to do it. If he were to turn the lodge against me, I'd be finished.
Absolutely true.
Well, my brother Mason's virtually keep me now. Never mind. Oh, man. Things are looking up for me already. I've had a wonderful offer from Chicken Eater. He's a new member of this lodge.
Chickinator, the actor.
Yes, he owns a theater in the suburbs.
Really more of a music hall, isn't it?
He wants me to write him vodka. Something for ordinary German people. He's offered me half the receipt when we open.
Nothing in advance?
He said that he couldn't afford anything. And I know it's not much, but still, a popular piece about brotherly love could celebrate everything we believe in as Masons.
It certainly could. Why don't you put the Masons into it?
An opera. I couldn't. All the same. What an idea. The Masons.
Our rituals are secret.
Oh, I needn't copy them exactly. I could adapt them a little. I could.
Well, it would be for a good cause, brotherly love.
Brotherly love.
Well, take heart, Mozart. It's a good idea.
It really is, isn't it?
But Go ahead and try, but tell no one until it's finished.
Not a word.
It's secret. So if that didn't finish him with the Masons, nothing would.
Mozart is most delighted with himself.
He's writing a secret opera.
I won't tell anyone this thing.
It's really too tiresome.
He told me. He told me everything. Initiation ceremonies, ceremonies with blindfolds, all rituals copied from the Masons. He sat at home preparing his own destruction, a home where daily life grew more grim.
I'm cold all day. It's hard to surprise me. We have no fire.
Papa was right. Doing exactly as he said we would. We're beggars, huh?
It's all his fault.
Papa's.
Kept your baby all of your life.
You're silly. You enjoy it, Papa. You told me so often.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Hated him.
What?
And he hated me.
No. He loved us both very much. You're being extremely silly now, Stanley.
Am I? Do you
You are.
remember the fire we had last night? Because it was so cold, we couldn't even get the ink wet. You said, what a blaze. Remember? What a blaze, all those old papers going up. Well, all those old papers were nothing but your father's letters that he wrote to us.
No.
All those letters about,
No. What?
about what a ninny I am and what a bad housekeeper I am.
Constanzi!
Damn him! Damn him! What did you say? At least he kept us warm! What else will do that? Maybe we should dance. Dance to keep
Leave me
warm.
alone.
Write me a contract, Mozart. It's your job, isn't it?
Frightened, Stanley. Something awful is happening to me. No.
I can't bear this. I can't bear much more.
These dreams. A figure in my dreams comes to me night after night saying, come, Mozart, come.
Stop it.
I
Stop
don't know
it.
what I'm doing.
Stop it! Stop it! For God's sake, stop! It's me who's frightened. You frightened me. If you go on like this, I will leave you. I swear I will.
Stanley, don't.
I mean it. I do. Oh,
Oh my God. Stanley, no. Here, sit down, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't. I'm sorry. Okay. Look, things will be like they used to. Just hold me and tell me who I am. Tell me my name. Tell me who I am. Tell me who I am.
my little wolfie.
Yes, and Stanley Marini. Stanley Marini. Do you want to play like we used to? Poppy? Poppy? Do you remember Poppy? Papa.
Papa.
Pappy. Pappy. Papa. 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 What is it? What is it?
News.
Suddenly,
She's been delivered.
unexpectedly,
Of a boy.
poor little imp,
Be born to that couple.
in that room,
Keep that in mind.
and the father, a baby himself.
And now I hear
And now I hear,
something more has happened.
even stranger.
She's gone. She's gone.
What do you mean?
She's gone. Stands up. She's gone away. She took the baby and went to bat into the spa. It'll take the last money that we have.
But why?
She says that I'm crazy.
No.
I think I am.
Surely not.
Perhaps I am. No. The figure of my dreams becomes more and more real to me. Last night, as I sat here writing, I was awake. I know I was. And he came to me, stood here. Only this time, he spoke to me and he said, Wolfgang Mozart, you must now write a Requiem Mass. Take up your pen and begin.
A requiem?
And I said, who is this Requiem for? Who has died? And he only said that the work must be finished when I see him next. To tell you the truth, I don't know whether it happened inside my head or out of it.
This is morbid fancy, my friend.
It had all the force of real things. Zoro, frightened her away. And now she'll miss the vaudeville.
You mean it's finished?
Oh, yes. Music is easy, my friend. It's marriage that's hard.
I long to see it.
Would you come? Would you come truly? It's not a grand theater, and no one from the court will be there at all. But
do you think that matters to me? I would go anywhere to see a piece by you. I admit I would be no substitute for your little wife. But I know someone who could be.
who?
I'll tell you what, I'll bring along Katharina. I remember you quite enjoyed her company. And so to the opera we went, this strange band of three. The first royal Kapellmeister, sleek as a cat. His mistress, now the great songbird she had become, and Mozart, demented and drunk on his cheap wine, which was now his constant habit. We went out into the suburbs, to a music hall and a tenement.
This is my first piece of this kind. You must both indulge me now.
We sat as he asked us to among ordinary Germans. The smell of sweat and sausage was almost annihilating. This is very exciting.
Do you think so?
Oh, yes, yes. This is truly the audience we should be writing for, not that dreary court. As usual, you show the way. As usual, he did. My pungent neighbors roll on their benches at his jokes. And I, alone in their midst, heard the magic flute. He had put the masons into it right in a... Oh, yes, and how? He had turned them into an order of eternal priests. I heard voices calling out of ancient temples. Saw a vast sun rise and set on a timeless land where animals danced and children floated. And in its rays, I saw all the poisons we feed ourselves drawn up and burnt away. And in the sun, I saw the Father, no more an accusing figure, but forgiving, extending his hands to the world in love. Wolfgang feared Leopold no longer. A final legend had been made. And the sound of that new-found peace in him, mocking my undiminishing pain. There was the magic flute there beside me. Mozart the flute, and God the relentless player. How long could he go on? So frail, so palpably mortal. And what was this that I was suddenly feeling? Pity? Never.
Mozart!
Baron. How wonderful for you to come.
I had, of course, suggested.
What have you done?
Your Excellency.
You have put our rituals into a vulgar show.
No,
They're
sir,
plain for all to see and laugh at.
No.
You have betrayed the order.
No.
Baron, please,
Don't speak for him, Salieri. You were ever a cruel Bulgarian we had hoped to mend. Stupid, hopeless task. And now, you're a betrayer as well.
No.
I shall never forgive you. And depend on it. I shall see that no Freemason or person of distinction shall assist you so long as I shall have life.
Baron, please, I must speak.
Leave be, Salieri. I do not look for this reward, Mozart. Never speak to me.
Wolfgang, all is not lost. But of course it was. He was now broken, ruined, shunned by all men of influence. And for good measure, he did not even receive half the receipts from the opera.
Chickinator pays him nothing.
The Chickinator cheats him
Gives him enough for liquor.
and keeps all the rest for himself. I couldn't have planned it better myself. And then, no word came from him at all. Nothing. Why? I waited each day. Nothing. What does he do?
Sits in his window,
All day and all night.
writing.
Riding like a man possessed.
He springs up every moment,
And stares wildly at the street.
expecting something.
Or someone.
We can't imagine what.
I could. I knew what he was doing, alone in that slum. He was writing his Requiem Mass for himself. And now I confess to you the wickedest thing I did to him. My friends, there is no blasphemy a man will not commit, compelled to such a war as mine. I got me a cloak of gray. Yes. And I got me a mask of gray. Yes. And I got me a hat of gray. And I appeared to the creature myself as the messenger of God. I confess to you that I, Antonio Salieri, then as now, first royal Kapellmeister to the empire, stalked empty Vienna in a freezing moonlight for 7 nights on end. That, just as the clocks of the city struck 1, I would halt beneath his window and become Mozart's more terrible clock. Each day I showed him 1 day less, and then stalked away. Each day the face he showed me in the window was more crazed. Then suddenly, with no days left him, horror, I appeared as usual, but instead of finger, reached up beseechingly like the figure of his dreams. Come, come, come! He just stood there, swaying as though he would faint off into death. And then suddenly he realized all his little strength and called down to me in a clear voice the words from his opera Don Giovanni inviting the statue to dinner.
O statua gentilissima, venite a cena. Venite a cena.
For one long moment, one terrified man looked at another. And then, unbelievably, I found myself nodding, just as in the opera. Crossing the street, pushing down the bolt on his door, trampling up his stairs with stone feet. There was no stopping it. I was in his dreams.
It's not finished. Not nearly. You must give me time. I need more time. Once I could write a mass in a week, but no longer. I've been working. Look, see what I've done. Kyrie is the first thing, and L is on the second. Together they make a double fugue. Grant me 1 month more. Please, sir. God kept one hit unfinished. I know I boast that I've written hundreds of pieces of music, but in the end it's not true. I've written nothing that's finally good. You know, once the world was so full, happy. Everyone smiled at me. King and Schönbrunn, Princess at Versailles, my father, bowing, bowing, bowing. Chevalier Mozart, my miraculous son. Why has it all gone? Was I so bad? Was I so wicked? What did I do? Answer for him! Answer for him and tell me. No, what? Is it not good? Is it not good?
It is good. Yes, it is good. I eat what God gives me. Dose after dose for all my life. All his poison. We are both poisoned, Amadeus. You with me and I with you. Escome Antonio Salieri! 10 years of my hate have poisoned you to death. God cannot help you, Mozart. God does not help. God does not love you, Mozart.
Oh my God.
God does not love. He cares nothing for whom he uses, nothing for whom he denies.
No.
You are no use to him anymore. You are too weak, too sick. All you can do now is die. Die, Mozart. Please, die.
Papa, put down your arms to me, and I will jump into them, just as we used to do. Papa, do you remember? Papa, we'll sing our little kissing song together. Do you remember, Papa? Orania, Figata fa, Marina, Graminata, Orania, Figata fa.
Reduce the man. Reduce the God. Behold my vow fulfilled. The profoundest voice in the world. Reduced to a nursery tune.
Salieri has killed me.
I'm back to take care of you. I'm sorry I ever went away, but I'm here now for always.
He's dead. Salieri, my friend.
Silence. No one has hurt you. You'll get better soon, I promise. I promise. You've got to get better. We need you. Oh, and baby friends as well. There's only the 3 of us. We don't cost much. We don't. Just don't leave us. Don't leave us. We wouldn't know what to do without us. You wouldn't know what to do without us. Heaven. You saw me meet. Can't even control me without heaven.
death certificate said kidney failure, hastened by exposure to cold. Lord Few paid for a pauper's funeral. 20 other corpses in an unmarked line. And what did I feel? Relief, of course. Yes, and pity too, I admit it. Pity for the man that I helped to destroy. I felt the pity that God can never feel. I weakened God's flute to thinness. He blew as he must without cease. And his flute split in his mouth of his insatiable need. As for Constance, in the fullness of time she remarried. A Danish diplomat, dull as a clock, and retired to Salzburg, the birthplace of the great composer, to become the pious keeper of the shrine. One amazing fact emerged. Mozart did not imagine that figure in gray who came to him and said, "Take up your pen and write a Requiem Mass." No, it was real. It seems a certain Count Walsing had a longing to be thought a composer. He actually sent his steward in disguise to commission the piece, secretly, so that he could pass it off as his own work. This he actually did. After Mozart's death, the piece was produced as Count Walsing's Requiem. And I conducted it. Of course I did. In those days, I presided over every great musical occasion. I even conducted the great salvos of canon in Beethoven's dreadful Battle Symphony. The experience made me almost as deaf as he was. And so I went on in the city of musicians, reverenced by all. On and on and on for 32 years. And slowly I came to recognize the nature of God's punishment. What had I asked for in that church as a boy? Was it not fame? Well, now I had it. I was to become quite simply the greatest musician in all of Europe. And for work that I knew to be absolutely worthless. This was my sentence, to endure 30 years of being called distinguished by people incapable of distinguishing. I was to be bricked up in fame, buried in fame, embalmed in fame. And finally, when my nose had been rubbed in fame to vomiting, finally, after all the receptions, civic awards, medals, chains, finally his master stroke, silence. It would all be taken away. Every scrap. Mozart's music would sound louder and louder throughout the world. And mine faded completely. Until no one played it at all. I must survive to see myself become extinct. When they trundled me out in a carriage to receive my last award, I heard a man on the curb say, "Isn't that one of those generals from Waterloo?" Nemico eterno, Dio implacabile! supplicio. One moment of violence, and it's all over. You see, I cannot accept it. To be sucked into oblivion, not even my name remembers. No, I did not live on earth to be his joke for eternity. I have one trick left me. You see how he deals with this one. I have been shouting out all week long about murder. You heard me. Do you remember? Piete Mozart! Mozart! Pardon your assassins! I did this deliberately. My servants carried the news into the streets. The streets repeated it one to another. Now my name is on every tongue. Vienna, city of scandals, now has a scandal worthy of it at last. Now, my friends, they will know for sure. They will hear the news of my dreadful death, and they will believe the lie forever. From this day forward, when men speak Mozart's name with love, they will speak mine with loathing. As his name grows in the world, so will mine. I am going to be immortal after all, and he is powerless to prevent it. Tell me, signore, is man mocked? I was born a pair of ears, nothing more. It was only through being used that I knew that God existed. Only through writing music that I could worship. All around me, men seek liberty for mankind. And I sought only slavery for myself. To be owned, ordered, exalted by an absolute. This was denied me. And with its all meaning, if I could not be Mozart, then I do not wish to be anything. I now go to become a ghost myself. And I will stand in the shadows when you come to this earth in your turn. And when you feel the bite of your failure and hear the taunting of an unachievable, uncaring God, I will whisper my name to you, Antonio Salieri, patron saint of mediocrity. And in the depths of your downcastness, you can pray to me, and I will forgive you. Vai saluto.
Beethoven's Conversation Book, November 1823. Visitors write the news for the deaf.
Salieri has cut his throat, but is still alive.
Beethoven's Conversation Book, 1824. Visitors write the news for the deaf man.
Salieri is quite deranged. He keeps claiming that he is guilty of Mozart's death and made away with him by poison.
The German Musical Times, May 25th, 1825.
Our worthy Salieri just cannot die. They say he accuses himself of complicity in Mozart's early death. A rambling of mind believed by no one but the deluded old man himself.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. No one believes it in the world.
Mediocrities everywhere. Now and to come, I absolve you all.